Watch out, it's the warning track.
Welcome into another episode of The Warning Track, episode 4, here today, Thursday, March 12th, roughly about 2 weeks before the season starts. I believe it's March 25th or March 26th. Spring training still rolling, World Baseball Classic still rolling, U.S. Squeezes into I think the quarterfinals it is, a little controversy there and a little bit of a scare from the Italians. Felt bad for Mark DeRosa. I've always really liked him. I know he's kind of facing a lot of scrutiny for some of his comments on MLB Network. But despite that, it's been cool to see. Like I said, baseball's still rolling. We have a lot of news, notes, injuries today. That's kind of what the main focus of the show will be. A couple closer updates, or I guess one's kind of iffy on if you really want to call it an update. But some potential closer talk, as well as some notable players returning from injury, as well as somebody kind of dealing with a setback from an injury themselves. So we'll dive right into it. Kind of some of our first notes. We have Cole Sands. So the Twins manager, Derek Shelton, told MLB.com that he has no idea who the closer will be for the Twins this season, but that Cole Sands is still a possibility. Here was the quote. He said, quote, "I'm still trying to figure it out. Sometimes that's the answer we're trying not to answer it. I've probably done that before, but right now I'm trying to figure it out. I don't think we have an idea of what's going to happen." And honestly, I don't think I have an idea of really what he just said. That kind of seems like a bunch of word soup there. All that being said, Cole Sands, I kind of like. I don't know if he's really somebody you're going to be drafting, or at least the draft I did Sunday, I did not see him drafted. And I think this will probably be more of a situation to watch once the season starts. The first couple save opportunities, see who gets it, and then hopefully we're just quick enough on the waiver wire from there. Because, I mean, Cole Sands' ADP right now on Fantasy Pros, or according to Fantasy Pros, is like over 1,200. So not being drafted at all. He's coming off a somewhat disappointing year, at least compared to his 2024. So in 2024, he had a 3.28 ERA, 9-1 record, which is kind of random for a relief pitcher, but 85 strikeouts and only 71 innings, a sub-1 WHIP. He put up good numbers, and last year, pretty much all that kind of took a step back. ESPN, saw a little stat from ESPN. There was some bad batted ball luck in that, but regardless, a 4.5 ERA, 64 strikeouts, and only 72 innings, so basically the same innings pitched with 20 less strikeouts. FIP was up. Home runs he gave up were about the same, home runs per 9. But either way, I saw him take a step back. I think the problem that worries me with the Twins closing situation, one, they're just not going to be a good team. Two, between Taylor Rogers, Liam Hendricks, Justin Topa, even like Andrew Chafin, I would be very shocked if Andrew Chafin was getting saves with the Twins, but a quality reliever still there. And so I honestly don't know what the latest is on Liam Hendricks. I mean, I feel like it's been forever now since he was Liam Hendricks isn't even. Oh, no. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Yeah, I mean, he made his spring debut March 3rd. He's 37 now. I mean, I think he'd be sneaky too. Basically, this is just kind of one of the few situations among teams where a closer's not really decided and nobody's really getting drafted, because I think it's somewhat similar situation to the Diamondbacks, where it could be Kevin Ginkel, Paul Sewald's maybe even in the mix. The only difference is, or at least in the league I was in, which is a 12-man head-to-head categories, I would say average size roster. Both those guys were drafted, late round draft picks, but both of them were taken. Like I said, Sands, Taylor Rogers, all these guys are going to be available on the waiver wire, and that'll be something to keep an eye on. That's probably what I want to do at least one episode before the season starts is name a handful of teams to be looking at. They don't really have a closer situation locked up, and there may be maybe some teams where people are being drafted with the assumption it'll be the closer, but you may never really know. Hopefully to do an episode about that. But yeah, Taylor Rogers, I know he obviously put up successful numbers for him once upon a time, but yeah, I don't know. He's coming off a 3.38 ERA in 2025, split between the Reds and the Cubs. Although after being sent to the Cubs, he was pretty bad. 5.09 ERA in 17 games. But could see that. He had a couple good years with the Giants. Like I said, Liam Hendricks, it's just been so long since he was relevant. But when he was, the dude was a monster. It was 2022. He had 37 saves and then missed a couple of years dealing with, if I remember correctly, it was cancer, dealt with some other injuries. So, like I said, whoever you get, it's not going to be a high upside pick, obviously. The Twins, like I said, I don't think are going to be very good. But if you can get free saves off the waiver wire, I think it's something to keep an eye on. So, whether it's Cole Sands, like I said, Taylor Rogers, I don't think would be terrible. Guys just to keep an eye on. Taylor Rogers. Let's see where his ADP is. His is 388, so which makes sense. They would think he's probably just because of his pedigree, been around for a long time. Liam Hendricks is 1061. Okay, so they have Cole Sands is the third of those. It could even be a committee, which would obviously be disgusting, but considering the arms they have in the bullpen, wouldn't surprise me. So that was kind of one of the first news I wanted to talk about. The other one is Josh Hader, kind of another closer thing. This one, not quite as fun. Will begin the season on the IL with the biceps injury that he's been dealing with. This was a report from The Athletic and other outlets. He threw a bullpen session March 10th, though. And from the reports I saw, it made it seem like he's not going to miss much time. Obviously, you never know. Setbacks and stuff could happen, but definitely doesn't seem too serious. Astros manager Joe Espada did not offer a timetable for his season debut, but all signs are showing that it's not going to be a super long absence. With that being said, I don't know if this news would really knock him down in ADP in any way. His ADP right now is 108, which I kind of like. He's kind of in that same range as Devin Williams. I guess he'd be going ahead of Daniel Palencia. But honestly, he's still only 31. Josh Hader's obviously amazing when he does pitch. There was also the shoulder thing last year that kind of derailed the end of his 2025 season. But dude's still a monster. I honestly kind of like the value here, especially if it does drop anymore. Because like I said, there's no timetable. Obviously, the rehab wouldn't be nearly as long for a relief pitcher as it would be for a starting pitcher. Brian Abreu, I think Brian Abreu is kind of in a weird spot. You have to draft him. Somebody's got to take him because at the very worst, you're at least going to get some saves, especially if you're playing Roto. That's season long, so you can get some saves early on in the season. Brian Abreu's ADP is at 254, so it's a pretty steep discount. At that point in the draft, you're pretty much just taking flyers on potential shots and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think go after Josh Hader. Josh Hader is easily one of the most elite closers in baseball. If he was fully healthy, I don't see why he wouldn't be going near or at the Andres Munoz, Edwin Diaz, Mason Miller range. So when you can get him 5 rounds later, I think that's one I like a lot. Moving into some other news, other injury stuff. And this one's unfortunate just because he was dealing with a ton of injuries last year, as well as Bryce Miller, who's been dealing with oblique inflammation, his left oblique since late February, did not throw a bullpen session after it was giving him issues. This is a report from SeattleSports.com. Like I said, coming off a pretty rough 2025 after an amazing 2024. Part of that vaunted Mariners rotation where every pitcher is just insane. He says 2024, sub-3 ERA, 171 strikeouts, 180 innings, sub-1 whip. Last year, only 18 starts, a 5.68 ERA. Excuse me. Yeah, it was not the best, and now he's already dealing with injuries this year. So, yeah, it was going to be his first full effort bullpen since he felt the inflammation. According to the report, Mariners GM Justin Hollander said Wednesday that the right-hander does not need to be completely shut down from throwing. However, Miller will have to revert back to flat ground work, and he's increasingly unlikely to be available for the start of the regular season, which makes sense. He was already going like very, very late in drafts. I want to say maybe like outside top 300. Okay, not quite. He's going 262, so very late in the draft. I mean, I guess the problem I have here is if you consider 2024 his best case scenario. I mean, the sub-1 whip is really – I mean, the ratios are good, but it's not a high strikeout guy. And so I just don't really know, other than a late round flyer, especially if you have IL spots in your league, then yeah, I guess that's fine. But considering what it looked like last year when he was trying to deal with pitching through injuries, just not really a guy that I think and at least it's an oblique too. It's not a forearm or a shoulder, but still, I think it's definitely very discouraging. You're hoping he would bounce back to his 2024 rates, especially with a late round flyer pick. I mean, it gets my upside there. But yeah, not really looking the best. The other news we have is Corbin Carroll made his spring training debut Wednesday, March 11th, as a DH. But it was official return from the hamate bone surgery that he did not even a month ago, which is pretty impressive. Now, I'm trying to see, this may not even be super updated yet, what his current ADP is, or if it's even rose at all. So Fantasy Pros has his ADP at 17. So we're talking like like right smack dab in the middle of the second round, when he was going as high as the first round prior to the injury. I guess I would say the fears that you could potentially have with the injury sapping his power still remain. That being said, I mean, he hit 31 homers last year, but the 2 years prior was 22 homers and 25 homers. So even if, let's just say, his power is sapped a little bit and he hits anywhere between 20 and 25 homers, if he still was giving you about 80 ribbies, 30, 40 steals, tons of runs, at least like a 250 average, I mean, it's not going to be anything too crazy. I doubt you'll see the 285 batting average from 2023 ever again. But I do think that it's a potential value. Like, I'm trying to remember. I know I was showing in episode 3 the draft. Or no, that was Kyle Tucker. So let's see where he went in this draft on Sunday. And nobody cared in this one. He went 6th overall. Granted, this league does account for triples as one of its stats. And so Corbin Carroll having double-digit triples each of the last 3 years is pretty valuable in this league. I know Zach McKinstry, I think, had double-digit triples, but obviously it's not a stat. People are really piling up. And so, yeah, I guess in that particular league, his value would probably be skewed a little higher, just because. And then obviously it's the high runs. Fulton had a 30-30 season last year. But I honestly, if I could get him in the mid-second, so I'll be interested to see the draft I have this Sunday. Here, we can actually pull it up here. Can I not see matchups? So yeah, this one accounts for total bases. So the triples still kind of help in that regard. But yeah, no triples stat. I'll be interested to see where he goes in this draft. But if he stays in that mid-second round, I think that's something I'm really liking. Especially just because I think the second round, I touched on a few episodes ago, is just not really one I'm super keen on. And so let me pull up a mock draft, because I know like Jackson Churrio's going in the late second. You have guys like Nick Kurtz, Junior Caminero. Obviously would have Corbin Carroll over all those guys. That's Roto. Okay, let's see this ESPN one they did. So this ESPN one's from March 4th, so 8 days ago. So definitely Corbin Carroll was hurt at that time. Now he went in the 8th round, a 10-team league, but he went the 8th overall pick. So just ahead of guys like Scooble, Julio. So yeah, that's tough. I mean, Julio, you're getting very similar numbers. Maybe not quite the steals or the triples, excuse me. But, well, yeah, definitely not. But he also put up a 30-30 season last year in 85 ribbies, over 100 runs. Corbin Carroll or Julio? That's a tough question. I don't know if you can necessarily go wrong with either one, but because Julio, his ADP is still 11th. Okay, so yeah, late first if you're in a 12-team. Either way, I think, yeah, in my opinion, if I see Corbin Carroll anywhere in the second round in the next couple drafts I'm doing this week and next, I know I will be snagging that up. So I guess we still got about 5-6 minutes or so. Why don't we pull up the ESPN closer chart, kind of just look at some of the teams. We can just talk about it now. So, yeah, the one person I mentioned, or one team I mentioned, excuse me, is the Diamondbacks to look for. Definitely not really any stranglehold on that role from any player, so pay attention to that team the first couple days. Like I said, Kevin Ginkel, Paul Sewald, I think, are the top two. Ryan Thompson, maybe, because he was kind of in the discussion last year. Same with the Athletics. Hogan Harris, Mark Leiter Jr., names that don't really inspire any confidence, but same thing. If you can get cheap, free saves, I think that's definitely something to consider. I guess the White Sox, too. It'll probably be Sir Anthony Dominguez, but Jordan Hicks is also there, who has closer experience. I guess outside of that, don't know if I'd really want anybody anyway. I think a sneaky underrated one is the Tigers. So I think a lot of people are just assuming Kenley Jansen is going to get the role. And there's a very good chance he will start with it. I mean, obviously has one of the best closer pedigrees of any pitcher ever. Crazy, he has 476 saves, so that would actually be pretty cool if he got to 500. He would need 24. So maybe if for nothing else than that, maybe they started off with him. But he did have a 2.59 ERA with the Angels last year as their closer, 29 saves, sub-1 WHIP. Now the FIP was almost 4. He had a 2.59 ERA and a 3.98 FIP. So something to kind of consider there. But when you have Kyle Finnegan, Will Vest saw opportunities last year. That's one where if Kenley Jansen struggles, and just the way A.J. Hinch is with relievers, that's one where if he struggles, I don't think he's holding on to that role very long. So having Kyle Finnegan or Will Vest, I think, would would be the dumbest idea. Speaking of the Angels, who knows with that one? Kirby Yates. I mean, there's so many pitchers there with closer experience, but have also struggled over time. Jordan Romano, Robert Stevenson. I don't know if Ben Joyce would be involved with that. Kirby Yates, Drew Pomeroy. I mean, there's so many names there, so that's one to look out for. We already mentioned the Twins, obviously, with Cole Sands. The St. Louis Cardinals situation is pretty disgusting. Riley O'Brien or Jojo Romero, I would say. I don't know if there's really a third name there. Maybe the Rangers, but I think Robert Garcia. I know Alexis Diaz is also on that team. I've heard some sleeper talk. You should still be able to get him for free. I don't think you have to draft Alexis Diaz at all. And then the Nationals. Cole Henry, Clayton Beeter. Maybe. I mean, I think it'll be one of those two, but we could probably see a committee there as well. So, I mean, that's what, 7? I think it was 7 teams. So there's definitely a lot of ways to get some cheap saves potentially. Just got to be quick on the wire. But, man, I guess in theory the teams could go a long time. I mean, they're all mostly bad teams, so could go a while without seeing a save situation anyway. But I think if you can get... I think my strategy with closer, I was able to execute it pretty well this first draft. I don't know how the next two will go. Is to get at least one, preferably 2 of like the mid-round closers. So in the first league here, I picked up Ryan Helsley and Pete Fairbanks. And then if I could get a third one among, like I said, these 6 to 8 teams, however many it was, off the waiver wire once the season starts, then I'd feel pretty good about that. And then obviously the position will be in flux with even some of the other teams throughout the year. So, well, yeah, that's pretty much all the time we have today. Thank you for joining another episode of The Warning Track, up to 4 episodes now. Can watch it on exclusively Wayne 15 Plus. We have also started putting archived episodes on our YouTube page, along with other Wayne 15 Plus shows like First and 15, Watching with Wayne, Beats of Fort Wayne. We'll hopefully start putting morning coffee episodes on there as well. You can also check out top stories, weather, sports, your typical stuff that you find on the YouTube channel too. So lots of ways to access the content, and we thank you for watching. And we will see you in another episode another time.
Watch out, it's the Warning Track.